What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to the True Gamer Podcast, the podcast hosted by two gamers for you, the true gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself, Sheps. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, man, doing good. Because I got like 3 nights of sleep.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. Most of the night.
That's way more than
Massive
usual.
improvement.
I was going to say, that's a 10x fold.
yeah, literally. It's a drop in the ocean of what I need to recover. Because I think they say that for sleep deprivation, you need at least twice as much as what you lost. I'm fucked.
That's like you need 4 years of sleep.
Yeah.
How the fuck?
But I got some, so I'm feeling good and energized.
There you go. You guys are going to get a great episode. It's unfortunate, though, however, that it falls on a very slow news week. Not much going on in the industry.
That's right. Nothing of any note.
Honestly, these past couple of weeks have actually been quite slow, to be honest.
It's been very dull. We've had to rely on our creativity and our just sheer animal magnetism because the content's been so thin that
we've had to pick up the slack. That's what we've had to do.
Yeah, right.
No other way of putting it.
You'd think the entertainment industry would be keen to get out there and
exactly. Oh, this just in. I didn't know how I was going to transition away from that joke, so there you go. That's the transition. Yeah, huge fucking news. PlayStation have gone and purchased Bungie. Bungie, the technically indie developer?
Yeah, I guess you can call them
They're
indie
independent.
now.
They publish themselves.
Yeah.
Indie developer, Bungie, for $3.6 billion. That's going to be the main bulk of what we're talking about today, plus some extra other little things. But man, the news weeks have not let up.
Yeah,
the past couple weeks have just been bang, bang, bang,
it's
bang.
been intense. And when we didn't have major news, I was having good takes about games that everybody agrees with.
Like last week, for example.
That's right, which I'd recommend you watch that episode. We had that one random upside down guy.
Unanimously, people in the comment section agreed with you.
Sheps is a genius. Oh my god. If only I understood games telling, story development, character creation the way he does. These are the unanimous comments.
I love it because most of the comments were more like, finally, someone's come and said something about Sheps' thing. As if it was all pent up inside them for weeks. And then finally Tyler came along and just unleashed their thoughts on, yes, Tyler, thank you for saying what all us, the voiceless majority of the
This is the thing that I don't get, because I've always said...
I've been afraid to talk to you.
First of all, I'm the most, approachable guy. I even said multiple times, I'm going away for the weekend, at me, and I'll get back to you whenever I get a chance, but I won't have the signal, right? That's the way I am. I expect you to at me and send me stuff, right? Whatever. And I also say, when I'm sharing this opinion, most people don't agree. I'm glad they don't feel this, because I don't like it. I do not like that feeling of Horizon Forbidden West. I want to love it. It's primed to be my perfect game. And I freaking hate it, mostly because it had that thing. It has a thing that I don't like. And then I say, it's cool if you don't agree. I'm glad if you don't agree. Why are people like, oh yeah, finally someone's speaking out? It's not like I've been told, you all must hate this game. Also, everybody on Discord, I love this game. Yeah, cool.
The way they made it sound was like you're a dictator and you won't allow them to have their opinions.
Right.
It's like, hey, know what? You can't like this game. In fact, I've said it, therefore, I've said objectively, therefore it's correct what I said.
Exactly. You heard it on the internet, so it must be true.
Anyway, that was a really good episode, and the previous episode was actually good fun. So go check those out if you missed it. Those ones are performing quite well, actually, for new episodes out there. Quite good. And for long episodes. So thank you very much for your support, guys. This is the True Gamer Podcast, bro. And to start off, we have a special group of people who make this show and everything possible on this channel. The Super Bros who support us over at patreon.com/Conbrosations. Those amazing people are Diogo Dildo, Isak the Ultimate Cumsock, Sabine from Smallville, the Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Sunling, Jeremy Renner, that's right, an official Avenger, the Super Sus Ben Fryer, the Filthy Beefy Fanatic Joe McCormack, my juicy left nut, the super sexy producer Sean, Catspud the friendly patron, the gaming from Gaming Shire Dave Bindis, Rick, the hentai dwarf. There was one thing I was going to write for him. It Hurts, the man who claims that One Punch Man is the best anime, and Kevin, the #1 simp. Is this your first day?
It kicked up as soon as we did the name.
Is this your first day, goddammit, AC? Do you not know about... Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
This is coming up in your annual review, mate.
Exactly. Of Xbox. Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights and mics on and the gaming going here
That's
at
right.
the True Gaming Podcast. Bro,
Yes.
let's kick it right into the first topic. Let's not delay people any further.
Okay. I feel like there was one delay. How are you? And and stuff. You asked me and then we went into it.
Okay, you know what, let's do that. Let's do it before we go in there. I'm doing actually quite good. A bit tired from work because I've been working quite a lot recently. I set up a whole bunch of stuff since my tools got jacked and I can't exactly turn back on my word. Right, I have to do that. Hopefully I'll get some rest soon. Things are going good though. Playing lots of games in my in-between time. Got myself a nice new hoodie.
It is actually a nice hoodie.
I got it from Merchoid, but this is actually Isak's fault.
Motherfucking Isak.
The guy... I think he signed up to their emails or something like that, and he got it, and it said like, Last Son of Krypton Black Superman hoodie available in low quantities, buy it now. And then he immediately pinged me on Discord and was like, Eddie, this is perfect for you, and I have no choice. So I had to buy it.
Your hand was forced.
It was like, click, credit card information, and then done.
Oh, no.
And I'm very happy because I have it. It's beautiful. I love it.
Oh, do you want to get your thing out so we can timestamp stuff?
Oh, yeah.
The other thing.
The other thing. Yeah. Thank you for remembering that. Timestamp sign point. But yeah, I do love this. I do love this hoodie.
It's a nice hoodie.
What's really funny is I wore it yesterday for the state of play that happened.
Yeah.
Very boring state of play. You didn't miss anything. But
I didn't even turn up for it. I normally turn up for these things. I didn't think it was going to be big after that. After what happened this week.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that's the biggest news that's going to happen, right? And I wore it, and you know there's the Superman theme song that comes up, the Superman Rising theme song that comes up when people subscribe?
Yep.
Perfect, because I was there, we had Henry Cavill on the screen as well over there, then the music, it was me in heaven, right there it was.
Gaming. Now, talking of gaming.
Talking of gaming.
News.
Yes, the first thing let's talk about it. So, PlayStation have purchased Bungie, the developer, the publisher, the indie developer themselves, for $3.6 billion and have taken them on board. Initial reactions as the guy who loves Halo, the original Halos that were made by these guys.
Yeah.
What's your reaction, sir?
Mixed.
Yeah?
Initially, my knee-jerk reaction was, wow, they're way overpaid for I can't tell what, really.
Mm.
But if the play is to make...
Sorry, I keep doing
Thanks,
that.
Dad. I think Bungie are the only guys that have made a successful live service game that wasn't a free-to-play battle royale.
Mm.
In the sense that it has stood the test of time. I mean, Destiny 2, but right, despite that, has come out with DLC and has like paying customers and constant use. If the play is to go with some sort of live service, and potentially because we know Sony wants to make FPS games, or a few of them, get them on the roster, then we might have something here. Because 343 tried it, didn't work. Did not work. Right? Destiny, however, is still alive and kicking. So I think this might be a long-term play for like their infrastructure, not infrastructure, but like their nous, you know, their understanding of what made it tick. Because at this point, how old's Destiny now? Like 8 years?
2013, 9 years, 8 years, 9 years, something like that. Yeah.
So they have a ton of data on why do people drop off? When we introduce this, how does it work? What's a good price point for all that crap?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, plus now they can give some of that stuff or work in-house with like Firewalk for whatever they're doing. So it might be a good move. Otherwise, if they basically just bought Destiny, I feel like you probably wanted to get Respawn instead. That's my pick. If you just want to pick up an FPS house, I feel like
good luck getting that out of EA's hand. That's all the EA are using that nowadays. They're like, forget every other studio, Respawn.
Well, that's my other thing is I think they should have bought EA. If we're going with buying wars, right?
Yes.
just purchasing up, like Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, and I think if you're trying to compete in that fight, then you have to pick up, I think, EA.
There was a graphic that went round on Reddit. People were writing in like, what do you get if you buy X companies like Sega, Square Enix,
Right.
Capcom, or if you buy Take-Two, you get Rockstar, you get Zynga, you get 2K games,
Yeah.
and one of them was EA. EA would be by far the most expensive out there to get,
I think
and the
it's one of
hardest
the
one
most
to go
profitable.
for. But that's the thing. Profit-wise, yes. However, there's more to think about when it comes to it, right?
That's
like
right.
culture-wise and whatnot.
I agree.
EA's got a very
Toxic.
negative gamer culture over there, and it's very opposite to what PlayStation is all about. But this is business at the end of the day.
I'll
And
give
if
you
think
one
about
counter
business
to that.
Go on.
FIFA.
Exactly, it makes tons of money. Stupid.
Just
amounts of money.
FIFA. Just
Stupid.
FIFA. So, and again, like, I actually agree. I'm a bit bemused why they bought Bungie.
Oh yeah.
Which is not to say Bungie aren't good, but of all the other plays that make sense to me, I think Square Enix makes more sense. I actually don't agree that Capcom and Sega would have been good moves. I just think there's not a lot there at the minute. Maybe it's not because I'm not in that space. Like,
Perhaps
I know people love their fighting
Katie's
games and
gonna
stuff.
hate you. Oh my god. Oh,
Fair enough. But like,
Jazz as well.
they might have been similar or less money to pick up, but I just don't think if you're buying it as a punch back against the Microsoft move, I don't think they're the one. I get Take-Two. Take-Two makes sense.
Take-Two would be a blow, because
That'd be serious.
GTA would then be in the hands of PlayStation. Again, I don't think they would make it exclusive.
I don't
and
think they would
whatnot,
either,
but-
because you want to siphon off that money away from Xbox, right?
But just that income alone allows you to
I
do so
agree.
much more.
And so, exactly, like that. I think Sony has the money. They could have bought EA.
Yeah.
Let's just assume they'd be willing to be acquired, right?
Yeah.
They could have bought EA. That's the move I would have done as a counterpunch. Okay, we're not going to we're not going to go blow for blow, but we need to acquire something new. I think Square Enix and Take-Two is the play. Because that fits more with Sony's stuff, which is the like longevity and look, the like first person shooter, like multiplayer stuff isn't really the Sony brand.
Yeah.
You can play it on there from third parties, but what do they really do? They like play on your PlayStation to play games. So Take-Two with GTA, Square Enix, obviously.
Yeah.
That just sort of makes sense to me. So I'm a bit confused, and I'm really interested. I'm really interested to hear what you have to say on it, because a few times you've had some really interesting takes. So don't let me down. All of the weight of this podcast is resting on you. No pressure.
Dear
Make
God.
it make sense.
Oh dear God. So there's a lot to unpack, right?
Yeah.
When I first saw it, I immediately went to here it goes. Here it goes. This is
the first
thing.
Corpo War.
This is what I told you. This is what we said in the last podcast. This is what we said when Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard. This is just going to be it. There's going to be no third parties.
Yeah.
PlayStation they haven't responded. This wasn't exactly a response. They obviously were working this deal for months before the Activision thing, but
What do you think they were, though?
I think what happened was, because don't think corporations don't know about other corporations' moves.
They have spies. That's 100% a thing. Yeah.
Heard murmurings, and then they went, well, we got to start making our plans, and then they went through.
Yeah.
Anyway, but this is it. There's going to be no third parties. Everyone's going to get eaten up, and so and so and so forth. And I was very down at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, I read this statement. So this is the statement from PlayStation themselves. Bear in mind, words can change, and words are just words.
These are just words, yeah.
But they are different to Phil Spencer's words, and listen to how he says it right here. So this is directly from the PlayStation blog, and this is words from Herman Holst and Jim Ryan and whatnot. Today, I am happy to announce that Bungie will be joining the PlayStation family. First sentence. First off, I want to be very clear to the community that Bungie will remain an independent, multi-platform studio and publisher. I'll continue the rest. As such, we believe it makes sense for them to sit alongside PlayStation Studios organization, and we are incredibly excited about the opportunities and synergies and collaborations between the two world-class groups. I have spent a lot of time with Pete Parsons, Jason Jones, and the Bungie management team to develop the right relationship where we are fully backed where they will be fully backed by the support of Sony Interactive Entertainment and enable what they do best: build incredible worlds that captivate millions of people. Bungie's world-class expertise in multi-platform development and live service games will help us deliver our vision of expanding PlayStation to hundreds and millions of gamers. Bungie is a great innovator and has developed incredible proprietary tools that will help PlayStation Studios achieve new heights under Herman Hulst's leadership. Here are a few words from Herman Hulst. He goes on like that. That first line. So, do you want to say something first?
Just two really quick things. One, I had not read that and didn't know when I was saying, "Oh, they'll pick up their tools and infrastructure." That's shot in the dark, and it's shooting an arrow, then drawing a bullseye around it. Fucking hell. And two, the tone of that is so different to the Xbox stuff.
Yes.
Which was so clinical, and then this was like joining the family. Before we do anything, they're going to remain. They have their own independence. They are a third-party publisher, and it feels like when PlayStation do something, they just do it for gamers. You know, they're not gatekeeping. Versus when everyone plays, we all benefit wherever it is, and then that's it. I don't know, man. It just feels very different. One feels predatory, and one feels like, okay, you picked up somebody, but yeah.
That's the feeling that I got from that first line. That first line, I'll read that bit again. The very first thing he says, just literally after them saying we've acquired Bungie. Yeah. First off, I want to be very clear, the community of Bungie will remain independent and multi-platform and a publisher. They're not taking anything away from anyone, not taking things away from a group of people and then saying that gaming is for everyone.
Also,
what a great way of saying that. What an actual pro-consumer move that is.
And I feel like I get it that we're ponies, right? But PlayStation, Sony in general, has got this long history of buying or working with companies and allowing them almost complete control.
Yeah.
They basically greenlight a project and then let them get on with it. And that's it. You know? So, like, for example, Square Enix, which, yes, is independent, but has this incredibly long history with... To be honest, I think a lot of people think Sony owns it.
I wouldn't be surprised if there are people that like, oh yeah, that's a PlayStation party.
And Sony functionally owns Final Fantasy at this point. They don't, but they functionally do. But Square Enix can do what it likes. They can make games for whoever they like and publish it however they like. Like, it's not... Sony just lets people get on with stuff. I don't know. It feels different. Everything from the statement to their history of how they work with their developers.
This deal is very different. And like I said, at the beginning, I felt like this was going to be more consolidation, more like, oh, there's no more third parties anymore. And while this is true in the clinical sense that this isn't a third party anymore, now it's owned by PlayStation, they are their own entity. They are their own thing on the side. And in exchange, what PlayStation is getting is their years and years of expertise with games as a service and live service games and stuff like that they can then take on and then learn to put into their games, rather than starting from scratch, making the same mistakes that Bungie probably did in the beginning, and then learning from them and maybe even fucking it up. Whereas these guys have actually done it correctly. Yeah. And I think a lot of people would agree that they have done it quite well, seeing as they're still here.
Oh yeah, like there is definitely no way. So I cut you off, man.
No.
I thought it was like you were like.
I took a breath, but
aha, a gap. I'll get in. There's definitely no way that, say, like the entire development team from, say, Firewalk spends 2 months in the Bungie studios just playing with their tools. That's definitely not a thing that could happen now.
Exactly. It goes to the so do you know when The Last of Us was being made? They had never animated a horse before. Yeah. There was this one scene, at the beginning of The Last of Us where Joel's riding a horse, and later on as well...
Of course I know the scene, yeah.
And later on also Ellie rides a horse and stuff like that. They had never animated a horse before. But they heard of their other studio, Ghost of Tsushima, has a horse in it, and they're like, can you help us out with how to work with horses and what the animation goes with? So they swapped resources and worked together.
Yeah, of course.
This is going to work exactly the same way. When someone's building something, they're going to build an online world. Yeah. What do we need to look for? What do we need to put in the foundations that will help us later? What do we need to do, etc., etc., etc.? And it's just going to work great.
Also, it's funny you pick those two games, which are the two games with the single best melee combat systems. Yeah. I cannot wait for a game where they just combine those two.
All of it together.
Oh my god.
There's another side to think about this as well.
Yeah.
With PlayStation just going, look, we're taking these guys on. Really, the reason why they're buying them is for that expertise that we mentioned just there. Keeping them multi-platform and giving them the support of PlayStation, giving them the financial backing of PlayStation, just means that this game for everybody everywhere is going to get better.
Oh, for Destiny, you mean?
For Destiny.
Yeah.
So, like, immediately they mentioned, let me just see if I can pull it up right here. Bungie gave a response as to what's going to happen next, etc. Here we go. With SIE's support, the most immediate change you'll see is an acceleration in hiring talent across the entire studio to support our ambitious vision. If this speaks to you and you want to help us and put a dent in the universe, we're hiring, etc. Immediately, the effect is that they've got more money, they've got more financial stability, and they're going to buy more people so they can work on bigger and better things and just make things faster, better for everybody. And because it's still saying multi-platform, everyone gets to benefit from this. This is what gaming should be. This is what the gaming industry should be like.
I agree.
Unlike buying a whole whole third-party publisher, and then just taking all that away from a bunch of people, or holding it as a conditional. Well, if you play ball with us, then maybe we'll give you this, or we'll do that.
I was just curious.
Go on.
I just looked up Destiny's player count, and it averages 50, anywhere from like, call it 50 to 55,000 concurrent players.
Is that on Steam?
This is just Steam.
Yeah. Oh, there is actually one place I saw. It was Tom
Which,
Henderson.
by the way, that's actually pretty freaking massive. By the way, 8-year-old game.
Yeah. I think I saved it here. Please tell me I did. Please tell me I did. Nope, I didn't. Okay. It was Tom Henderson. I'm actually going to look for him now. He actually found out the numbers for each individual platform, and I think it's really high. Tom Henderson.
I mean, to be honest, I was surprised that it was... By the way, so typically the way it works is they'll release something new. This is the way all of these types of games run, and a bunch of players will flood back to it, and then they peter off over the coming months. So they had one of those in a couple months ago, and then it dropped down again. So their low number is 50 to 55,000. This is just on Steam. Concurrent players. That crazy. Is the average daily user rate. Like that's nuts. That's
here we go.
Man, that's actually really high.
860,000 players played Destiny yesterday, and that's in the slow part before the expansion releases. The expansion is releasing in a couple of days and whatnot. The Witch Queen expansion has already got 1 million pre-orders for it, which
really
is all because of Sony. Now that they're a Sony product, obviously that's their benefit, right? It's a bit like how Xbox fans were claiming that Deathloop is a Microsoft win, even though they came in at the finish line.
It's
we could do the same now, right?
That's funny as well.
1 million pre-orders.
The really ironic thing about Deathloop is that it is complete proof that Bethesda can turn out really high-quality games if managed properly, because they were by Sony, because Sony had to greenlight bits of the project. You have to make management decisions when you're sort of not customizing, when you're what do you call it when you pay for something? Not pay for something. Commissioning a game. Thank you.
There you go.
I got to customizing. I'm like, that's not right. So with the correct management, they turn out a really good product. So they have the talent. They can make the product. Now it's down to whatever they turn out next. Probably that will be Xbox exclusive, or let's say Microsoft exclusive. How good that is now down to Microsoft. If they turn out trash, it's because Microsoft's trash. If they turn out gold, it's because someone at Microsoft is managing them well. Yeah. And I want good stuff. Bethesda can make stuff. Let's bring back the heyday of Bethesda, BioWare, Activision. Let's bring it back. I want it. We have the money now, if money was an issue.
Yeah.
Like, we'll have to see. So what, it was over 1 million pre-orders.
1 million pre-orders for the new expansion that's coming up. So that's presumably 1 million players that were going to play this game.
800,000 players yesterday.
Yeah.
And
that was at a low point. That's quite mad. Can I read some bits that I wrote down? So I I love podcasting so much that sometimes I podcast to myself and then I'm like, shit, I need to get this out and like do a voice note and whatnot. So I wrote down some stuff here. Let me read it as I wrote it, and hopefully it all makes sense so we can talk about this. So I was saying that the new PlayStation strategy, because we thought, are PlayStation just going to continue down their course, or are they going to go on a buying war? I think they've got a new strategy here, and I think it's much, much better than we both thought.
Okay.
So I think the new strategy is simply to make money and be very successple. Not necessarily...
That's a good business strategy.
It's a good business I'm not going to lie, as a businessman...
Right.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we pitched it as either they fight on the offensive and buy other studios, or continue down their course, just remain defensive.
Yeah.
But I think this is offensive, but not a war in certain sense. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So, PlayStation have already got a set of really good studios, right? And they make excellent, top-tier, exclusive games like Horizon, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, and so on.
Yeah, definitely two of those.
He said it again, guys, in the conversation game. And they've done that by like organically growing partnerships with studios that they know, and then at the right time bring them on to the PlayStation Studios portfolio, and then they're going to continue to do that and want to wish Sony's back in. In response, I think that PlayStation have thought of a far smarter move, which is maybe purchase a studio like Bungie that will give them all the benefits of the online infrastructure and everything like that, so they can share with the other studios, so they can make other games and want to add online components, or even make an online game or two or something like that, which is very profitable, and just be successful with the success of Bungie, with Destiny 2, growing even more with the financial backing, and have more successful games of their own.
Yeah.
That way the studio is bringing more money to PlayStation, and also the next big project from Bungie as well. They've got a brand new IP in the works as well. That could probably be even bigger now, but with PlayStation support.
You have to assume that Sony knows what the product is, right?
If they're buying it, they probably said, "So what is your next?" product?
There'll be strong NDAs in place, but they'll have gone, "We want to go through this."
Yeah.
Okay, let's check it against our recipe. That looks good. That's
actually another point I said, that is buying Bungie obviously gave them the opportunity to look at the brand new IP they're working on, and with PlayStation's good eye for like a good game, like they've done for Deathloop and other third parties that they've purchased and whatnot, you have to assume that they liked what they saw.
Yeah, which by the way doesn't mean it will be good.
No.
But on paper or whatever they saw, obviously there'll be test footage and all that stuff, and not test footage. They'll have seen the game and know the story points or whatever, but they have to have said, okay, we like that,
because it'd be very odd. They might have still gone through with it purely for the live service infrastructure knowledge and whatnot, but it'd be very odd for them to say, "Oh, you guys are about to make a stinker." Oh,
unless it's Destiny 3.
It could be,
Brand new IP,
brand new. It deserves the 3 on the end of it. That's what it deserves. That's that's very interesting to think about. We can speculate about that in a second. Now, Microsoft tried to do the same thing that Sony did one time. They tried to buy some little studios like Ninja Theories and all the other stuff that we saw before, and tried to like give them the financial backing to try and make something good, and they failed at that.
What was the last thing they put out?
Sorry?
What was the last thing? Have they put anything out?
Mate, they brought there was a 3v3 melee combat game that just died as soon as it came out, and then I think that was it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm looking at... Keep going.
So Microsoft tried to do what PlayStation did with being creative and fostering these studios, but didn't have the creative chops or the management to handle to make a game like God of War or anything like that. And in the meantime, PlayStation were just continuing to bring these like big games and stuff like that made them feel even worse. I think that their whole plan is to go multi-platform, as in like PC as well as PlayStation, and make money and be successful and then win out that way. Because then you get the hearts and minds of the gamers, you get the money side of it as well, the good business of it, and you just make great games and you win that way. I don't think it's necessarily they're trying to fight the fight of how can we beat an Activision Blizzard deal. I think they're trying to beat them simply by making good games.
I feel like Microsoft's making better business decisions with what they're purchasing. So
You
like
think so?
they own Minecraft, for example.
Yeah.
There's a money churner. But it definitely sounds like Sony's making better decisions from the sense that it feels like they're pooling resources so that they can pull from tools for whatever future projects they want to make. My question for you is this, because I actually think you made a really good point. Do you think Sony's trying to pull a Nintendo where instead of it being Sony versus Microsoft or PlayStation versus Xbox, no one considers Nintendo in the war, but they are easily one of the biggest names in gaming? Do you think they're trying to just leave the planet? Like they don't want to be on planet console war. They want to be one of the...
That's what I think this could be. I think that could be it. As I said, like they... Okay, so we're in a very tough situation right now.
Oh, God.
Careful, everyone. Stay calm. Everyone stay calm. The sockets are leaning on the wire that powers the camera.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
You can pull it out. Oh, good. Here we go.
Cut the red wire. Get your snips out and just cut all the wires that you see. Don't worry about grounding. It's fine.
No. Okay.
Emergency averted.
Emergency averted. All right. So yeah, I think you're right. That might be kind of what the situation is.
Yeah.
Is that PlayStation are making the far smarter move, where they're making themselves so rooted in this scene, in this that they're not in the conversation anymore.
Yeah.
They're making the multi-platform games that can be played everywhere, and then they're bringing in money, which are then going to fund their own other like studios and other IP, and then it's going to even exponentially increase the quality gap that you have with quality first-party games. And if they make another acquisition, and let's say that's multi-platform as well, then that even more cements them in place. And no matter what Xbox does, whatever exclusivity anti-consumer purchases they make on the other side, it will be annoying, and it'll always bring up a conversation of, God damn it, Call of Duty's over there, or God damn it, this is over there. But it doesn't matter, because PlayStation's going to be making their money over here with all of these games that everybody wants to play. And nobody's ever going, well, I'm not going to have a PlayStation. I'm not going to not have a PlayStation. I have to, otherwise how can I... Like, the same way that I've got a Switch. Of course I've got a Switch. How am I going to play those Switch games then?
Because you've got Pokemon to play.
People are going to say, oh, of course I've got a PlayStation. I have to play those PlayStation games.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think that's what they're doing. That's why I think it's the smarter move. I don't think they're going on the offensive. I think they're putting themselves in this, like, unmovable position.
If they learned from the last 2 years, they should have learned one major thing, which is what kept Microsoft in the race prior to these major buys, which was that they just changed the discussion.
Yeah.
All of our games will go on both platforms. We're not bringing out any games. No, but Sony is, right? Change the discussion. So that's definitely something. The thing is, these two, I don't feel like these two strategies can combat each other very well, because it feels like Sony is trying to produce good stuff now, and that Microsoft is trying to eventually swallow the gaming sphere as a whole down the line. And the only thing I can really say for sure is that they must have one of the best salesmen in the world at Microsoft that can pitch 5 years of losing money on Game Pass and then say, we want to double down 700x down. I want $75 billion to purchase all these companies.
It is a very strange pitch, because the only argument that I could possibly think is just an emotional one, where it's like, do you want to lose to Sony? It's like,
I don't think that...
I want to make money. What were you talking about losing?
Right.
Is that if it means giving this up and making something else, yes. I don't care. I want money.
Right.
But that seems to be not what they're thinking. It's so strange.
It does feel like they're in 50 years, they'll have all of the gaming industry. But they're willing to lose money up to that point. Then again, the games industry is the biggest entertainment, excluding porn. Yeah. It's the biggest industry on the planet.
We need to take over porn. That's what we need to do.
No. Porn games.
Ah.
Aha!
No, that's where two worlds collide. It's amazing.
Pan pending.
All right. Now that we've got like the Actually, was there anything else I needed to read? I had some links open that I wanted to check out. By the
no.
way, there's a little, it's like a 6-minute interview with Herman Hulst, the head of PlayStation Studios and whatnot. The guy sounds so fucking cool. He used to be the one that ran Gorilla, and now he's been promoted to Sony Studios Worldwide. The guy sounds so great. He sounds so passionate, and the way that he's talking is fucking amazing. You should go check that. It's on the PlayStation blog. Let me check out my links just to make sure.
I do want to, sorry, one thing.
Go ahead.
I was unfairly harsh on Ninja Theory when I said, what have they made?
Yeah.
Because they did make... Come on, come down. Where's the games? Come on, there we go. I said, what have they made in recently? And they had made... 2017 they made Hellblade. They were acquired in 2018... And they had Nicodemus, I don't know that game, and the Vader Immortal VR, which would have been in development well before they were acquired.
Yeah.
You can't really put that down to Microsoft. But since the acquisition 2018, not a lot. 2020 they had Bleeding Edge, which I think is
that was the one I was
3v3.
mentioning, yeah.
And then Hellblade and Hellblade 2. There's a...
They port them or something like that?
Hellblade, I think it was DLC. Senua's Sacrifice for optimized for Xbox Series X and S is what they say, and then Hellblade 2 coming out. So it's not that Ninja Theory don't do anything, but like since the acquisition and all this money that they should have had,
it shows that it's not just money that gets games made and whatnot. There's a lot more that goes with
because then you have Sony get Deathloop made in 3 years, I think it was, something like that, at Bethesda. So... You know, just stuff to consider is all, yeah.
Let me read you some points. This is from Nibel on Twitter. He was talking about an interview with Jim Ryan and the CEO of Bungie, Pete Parsons, talking about stuff that what points they bring up that are like beneficial with this new arrangement that they've got here. It's saying the future of Bungie will be completely multi-platform. There's going to be no question about that. So everyone who's worried about Destiny moving over to exclusively to PlayStation, you don't need to worry about that. Even the new IP that's coming going to be multi-platform. It's all cool there. PlayStation were interested in Bungie's live service expertise. Ryan wants to go beyond consoles, he says. So I'm guessing he means to like PCs, mobiles, and stuff like that.
God, not mobile games.
Not stuff that's particularly interesting to us. Don't worry, there's troubling stuff coming.
God, don't worry.
Aggressive roadmap with live services. That's a hint of what I was going to mention.
Okay.
CEO of Bungie, Pete Parsons, says Bungie's acquisition helps accelerate their own plans. Bungie's IP could be pushed to TV and film. And that was the thing that I thought maybe sweetened the deal for them. PlayStation now have suddenly got this idea that they're going to make movies of everything that they have. Uncharted, The Last of Us, and you know it's only a matter of time until they make like a God of War or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's what, because they have Sony Pictures and things like that, I think that maybe what sweetened the deal for Bungie. They were like, we can help you make a movie or TV show out of your IP.
I mean... I will say this. Of everything Bungie could in theory have done, the only really interesting thing is Halo, and they don't have that.
Yeah.
So I don't see anyone watching like a Destiny movie.
Oh, as a Destiny fan, I'm going to have to
you might be right, but
au contraire, mon frère.
I feel like the law's all over the place.
That's the thing. So if you're a Destiny player and you know all about this, whenever a new expansion comes out or anything like that, there's always these massive cutscenes that they do, and it's amazing. There's always like this great bit of story.
Those cutscenes are great. I agree.
Touching and stuff like that. It's all fantastic. Everyone's at least heard about the Cade 6 touching moment where he gets murdered and whatnot.
Spoiler alert!
Spoilers, everyone. It's fucking fantastic. The problem is that it's such a detach, because the way it works is that you're for the most part, you was anyway, a voiceless character, and you're all in first person, and while you're in first person, there's no interaction with other people. Yeah. It's very basic. And you go from high quality cinematics to no interaction almost.
Right.
That was the difference. I think there is a good story to be told there. Maybe a good movie, maybe a TV show, something like that, sci-fi-ish on another planet. Maybe. And I think these guys might come out with something great.
Maybe.
But it's hidden in there. You have to rough off the gems.
Yeah, the other thing is, so like, I gotta say, I don't buy the cinema thing.
Yeah.
Personally, you might be right. And I'd love to be wrong and the movies to be amazing. It does feel like Sony is trying to up their cinema game.
Yeah.
In fairness, they just had almost the biggest movie ever. It will be the biggest movie ever in a minute. No Way Home is like, I think it's $20 million off of Avatar.
Oh, shit.
In US domestic. So like, it's close to the biggest movie of all time. I think it's outstripped Endgame and stuff. Like, that's massive.
Yeah.
So Sony can put on wins, and they also, man, we need some miles. And I said this for the games. They need to go Pete Miles. The way COD went like from like
Treyarch,
exactly.
Infinity War.
Like, I think we're in for, if it's handled properly, a lot of great entertainment.
Yeah.
Also, they need to make Venom work. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It sucks. And I love Venom. So, maybe. Definitely maybe. But what else? Okay, so maybe Destiny. What else do they have thanks to Bungie?
That's the thing. Bungie is only just Destiny. That's the only thing they have. That's why it seemed, and I put out the question on Twitter. I was like, do you think this is a bit too expensive for just Bungie and just Destiny?
It feels like it to me.
But that's the thing. I don't think that's what they were even initially gunning for. They were going for the live service expertise.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is worth the money.
Potentially.
Anyway, we'll have to see what happens with that. Forgetting about the business side of things. Go on, you had a thought.
If they, there's talks of like a Last of Us 3.
Yeah.
Would a Last of Us 3 live service, would that work?
Oh no. Don't even put that thought out there. Don't even put that thought out there in the universe.
I think
why did you even do that?
I think they might go for it.
No, they won't.
Yeah, they will.
No, they won't. Because it's not even just like Sony saying, even if Sony was to be dumb enough to do that, it's not even them saying it. You have to convince Neil Druckmann, you have to convince all the other writers to go with it, all the other animators to go with it. There will be riots at the door of Naughty Dog.
I don't
all because of your dumb idea.
I don't want it.
It's your dumb idea. This is the guy that said Horizon is bad. Remember that.
But I'm just thinking, like, you know when they vault stuff in Destiny?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. They take stuff out of the game. But let's say you have a hub. Whoops. Say you have a hub where you have, like, this new thing. And then you decide to change it for the DLC. Well, it just gets overrun by clickers, and you can't go in there anymore.
I hate everything you're saying. I can't even nod in agreement.
It just makes sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
And
don't put this out there in the world.
Days Gone, you just marry all of these things.
I hate everything you're saying.
But you know I'm right.
No, I don't know. I'm categorically saying you're wrong. You should never have said this. You should never have said this.
February of 2022.
Sorry, for a second I thought you were saying that's where it's going to come out.
No,
Watch,
no.
February 2022.
They're not seeing it right now. This just in. No. I called it 2nd of Feb.
Let's bring it back to the business side of this one.
Yeah.
Here. So everyone, obviously, their initial thought was, oh, they're going to make Destiny exclusive, right?
No, that's silly.
And then it turned out that that's not going to be true.
That's silly. That
it was
doesn't make sense.
straight away.
Yeah.
Now, I had thought straight away, I was like, well, maybe their next game is going to be exclusive then. But they've said that they're going to make everything multi-platform. What do you think about that move right there?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense for a couple of reasons. One, it's third party. So either Xbox has to pay them a lot of money to get it on Game Pass, or Xbox have to buy it.
Mm.
Yeah. Why not? Why wouldn't you?
That business-wise, I think that's a good idea, but obviously there's other things to think about. With Xbox making all of their moves to make every game basically free for their customers, and then making it so expensive on other platforms or even non-existent, taking them away. Do you think that's a good move in terms of optics-wise, in terms of this console wars that we're in and whatnot? Do you think it's a good move?
Yeah, I do, because I believe long-term the Xbox model is incredibly toxic to their own customer base.
Well said.
So the idea that let's say it's Destiny 3, we'll just make it up, and it comes to Game Pass day and date because Xbox pay for it, right? So Xbox pays Sony, and the Xbox say everything comes to Xbox, and eventually stuff either stops coming to Xbox, or Xbox has to say, we can't just keep giving these games to people. Right? We don't have the player base, and people aren't playing. They're not on it for long enough. They're not on it for full price. I wouldn't be surprised if Game Pass goes away in the next sort of, let's say, maybe 3 years, and it either fizzles out or they say we're dropping this for a different service or whatever. Because I think they want services.
Do you know what I think people aren't considering? This is all a Phil Spencer initiative, right?
Yes.
Phil Spencer came in and then he radically just shook everything up and then got Game Pass started and has grown it to this massive thing that's costing tons of money and whatnot. And somehow he's managed to convince a bunch of people to do this.
I mean, they seem to not care about the money, but
they seem not care. Phil Spencer can't be the head of Xbox Studios forever.
Yeah.
What happens when he moves out and someone else moves in?
Oh, immediately we're stopping this, and then wait, they won't buy anything.
This is the thing. Maybe they don't immediately turn down Game Pass straight away, but they go, okay, let's create something with what we've got, with the hundreds of thousands of studios we've purchased. Let's create something with what we've got. It's not working. Okay, we need to trim some fat somewhere. They sell off a studio or shut one down or whatever it might be. And then they're like, okay, we need to actually make money from this service. We up the price of it even more. Then that's the thing. People are relying on this, but this is a Phil Spencer initiative. He's not going to be there forever, and he's already been there for... How long has Phil Spencer been there for? 2013 did he get there?
I think so. That sounds about right.
Spencer...
I want to say it was at the Xbox One.
CEO. When was he appointed CEO?
This is hard to find. It's very specific.
There's a picture of 2015, but that doesn't mean anything.
See, what I think will happen is either Phil or whoever gets in next will go, okay, we need to trim the fat. Brand new games aren't coming day and date anymore. They get access to the backlog catalogue, which is what I said should be the Sony product.
Yeah.
But they'll have to buy games for the first year, let's say, or 6 months. And then they won't.
Yeah.
And then they'll realise that they don't make any money with Game Pass, and now their customers don't buy games. And then the majority of guys on Game Pass aren't Xbox. It's just a good value. And when they realise that, well, we have to pay for these new games anyway, well, what are the new games that are coming to me? Like, excluding third parties. Okay, well, I don't really dig that. But all I hear talk about is God of War, The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll pick up a cheap PlayStation 5, in a couple of years' time. Pick up a day of release one second hand.
Yeah.
And start playing these games. Oh my god, these games are good. So I think Game Pass overall is toxic to the longevity of customers. They're not going to pay for stuff. So I don't see any problem with having Bungie release stuff, even if it goes on Game Pass, because Game Pass will not last forever in its current model. It doesn't make anywhere near the money that it should do because the people on it aren't on it at full price.
And in the end, it's Microsoft paying to Sony for this product. This is the thing.
Exactly.
I think this comes back to the point that I made at the beginning. I think this move is very, very, very smart and very, very pro gaming industry. What they've done, they've not taken any games away from anyone.
Yeah.
All they've done is add to a studio that was already doing great, giving them even more resources, even more capital to work with, giving them the abilities to expand out to things like TV shows and stuff like that, which is, for the people who are in Destiny, they love Destiny. So I'm sure they would be happy for, like Dan, I'm sure if we spoke to him right now, he'd be like, I would love a Destiny TV show. I'd love to watch something like that. And other Destiny fans and whatnot. And thinking about telling people, it's like, hey, we've got all this money. Do you know what? Without Sony, maybe our plan was to finish at the 10-year mark.
Yeah.
We've got money now for us to do one big final bang expansion for up to 11 years and then really cap off Destiny how we really wanted to.
Give it a good send-off, yeah.
Exactly, before we move on to the next IP. People were going to love that. I think it's very healthy for what's going on, as opposed to the other side of the coin, which is what Microsoft are doing. Buying all these studios, putting it under their umbrella, funding all these games out of their own pocket, and then getting nothing in return for it, potentially endangering the future of these games and these studios. It seemed there's such a stark difference in mentality.
It might be because I'm not a Destiny simp.
Yeah,
because I know that the people that love Destiny. It's all they want to play, you know? So obviously there's something there. And the numbers, by the way, are higher than I thought. I didn't realize it was 800,000 people yesterday and 1 million pre-orders for the DLC. And like, that's insane. Personally, I don't agree that it's the best purchase. Like, I like a lot about it. I do think the live service infrastructure, their experience with running the game, like, man, this is one of the longest running games. It's like this and GTA. What else has lasted this? And let's say like World of Warcraft. 3 that I can really think of that come to mind.
And a properly supported one. Like GTA is not supported.
I
it's
agree.
Just barely over. But this is like an actual expansions constantly.
Right. So I think, God, from that perspective, it's a good move. But I don't think it's the best move. I think if a better decision would have been like Take-Two or EA. But that decision would be based on fighting Xbox.
And that's the part
that's where we're not. Yeah, exactly. That's where we're not aligned. So I will say I don't buy the cinema stuff. I don't believe that. You might be right. Again,
I think it was just a cherry. I think it was just like, we have this thing, and because you're part of our family, we want you to prosper. You making money means we make money.
Yeah.
We've got this infrastructure if you want
Cherry
to go
on
to
top. I would discount that. I just don't. Again, I'm not connected to Destiny, so you might be right. It's the live service thing. Sorry. That live service thing could be massive.
Yeah.
Told you it's coming to Last of Us 3. It could be massive. It's going to be really interesting, because I think on the surface I felt like this was a mistake. The more I look at it, and the more importantly I look at Microsoft having a ton of studios and not really doing anything with them, I think they could have made bigger mistakes.
Yeah. I'm going to say something that's going to be very Sony pony.
Okay.
I can see it in the comment section. People already think of Sony ponies, even though I feel like personally I am quite equal and I give pros and cons where things are. But people only see the Sony positive stuff I see. But this is genuinely going to sound like I'm waving the flag and sucking on the...
Let's hear it.
Okay. Prior to this, I genuinely did have that dark feeling inside me that gaming's gonna go bad.
Yeah.
Gaming's gonna go really bad, and this has started something it's the moment in Justice League, brought up again, in Justice League, where like the future has taken root in the present. I was like, that's it. We're on the path now.
This world is defenseless, no lantern, no Kryptonian.
We're done. That's the end of it. This is we're on the route to the dark timeline, and that's all it is. Nothing can stop us. And there it is. And then Sony came out of nowhere and saved us all.
Sony, man.
Sony came out of nowhere and saved us all with an idea that I didn't even think about, where you can make big purchases, smart acquisitions, keep them in the hands of the gamers, but benefit massively in another way that then feeds back into your policy of making just fantastic games for people to play, making gaming just rise even higher. And that actively combats the shitty strategy of just buying everybody up. Because doesn't matter how many studios Microsoft buys on the other side, don't get me wrong, it's going to be a fucking conversation to have if everything gets bought, if EA gets bought, or if Take-Two gets bought over there. But it's not going to matter, because PlayStation will always have this core set of fundamentally amazing games that no one can avoid because everybody wants them. And everyone will go there because they want them. And that's the whole part of being a gamer, and that's the whole point of choice. That if you want something, if they make something great, then people will go to it. And then on this side, with the multi-platform stuff, they're making it available for everybody. No strings attached. No asking for you to purchase a specific console or a subscription to something that you didn't want.
True.
Just go and buy it wherever the hell you want. Wherever the hell you want. And then they're doing even more stuff with their first-party stuff that people are saying, oh, I needed to buy a PlayStation. They're all coming to PC now. If you have a PC, you can play them there. If you want to play them day and date, you might want to get a PlayStation. Yeah. But there's other benefits to that as well. All the other games that you could be getting that we create a PlayStation.
That's right. We create them.
I meant that as like I was talking as PlayStation, but that sounded like I was saying it.
That's right. We're taking the credit. In my head.
But that's what I mean. This is far more healthier and pushes up gaming rather than just losing money left, right, and
everyone
center
benefits
purely out of spite.
when everyone gets to play, or whatever that freaking tweet is.
They fucking tweeted it
words,
again, by the way, yesterday.
It's all words. It's all just say one thing and do another, right? It's that CIA thing. Admit nothing, deny everything, make counter accusations. You know.
Yep.
In my head, you have the scene where it's Microsoft and Wolf coming up to Axe Gaming in the back, and then Sony man gets in the way, not impressed.
Not
With,
impressed.
Yeah, with their like acquisitions, not impressed. You should make that GIF, innit?
Just if I make the GIF, I literally
And then
transition
put it on
into
r/gaming. It's like gaming. It's like Cyborg's there as gaming. Steppenwolf, Microsoft, acquisition. Boom, not
if I
impressed.
do that, I literally turn into
Do
the
it.
kids in the console
Do
wars
it.
on Twitter and whatnot.
Do it. Thing is, you bait them on Twitter all the time just with silly stuff, but make that GIF.
There was another Starfield tweet yesterday, and I did it again. And again, everyone's like,
They all fall for it. Sucks to be a Sony pony. No. Should have bought an Xbox. No. They all fall for it. Also, I love the thing with Starfield, though, because they jump on it like they know anything about the game.
Right.
None of us know anything except the title and some art. I can't wait for it to be like, you remember Facebook games, that Farmville. Farmville. Can't wait for it to be that.
all right, do you want to hear some bad news?
Okay, yeah, let's hear some bad
Okay,
news.
so do you have any final thoughts? Like, where do you see the future going? Is this a good thing, bad thing? Do you see anything amazing popping out from it? Are you now a Destiny fanboy? What's going on here?
Yeah, all of those things. So I'm really not sure. I think we're still on track for the dark timeline, to be honest, so far. Mainly because Xbox went toxic. We said at the beginning of this whole console generation that we wanted the Xbox to do well because a strong Xbox means Sony stays on like razor sharp, making good stuff. And if they get weak eventually, Sony will just stop making stuff. I didn't mean this. Like, Xbox just went out. I feel like they're trying to bulldoze their way with money, and the only way to combat it is for Sony to start basically doing the same thing. And that's not what we want. That's not good for gaming. So overall, I would like to delete the last couple of months.
Yeah.
However, we are in this timeline. We have to make the best of it. And I do think, as of right now, Sony's where games deliver the best. So I'm not really upset. It's just we have to see if they're going to do any live service and what they do with it.
That's actually going to be the next topic. So where I've said before, my thoughts are that this is very good, obviously, because I'm a Sony pony. Obviously, this is good because it hasn't taken anything away from anyone. All it does is enrich that studio, give them more to work with, give them more support for them to do better things, and also give Sony something in return so they can do something better as well. This is just a plus all around for everybody.
Yep.
The only people that are upset about this, the only people that are actually feeling like something's negative here are the Xbots.
Yeah.
They're the only ones that seem to think that now, for some reason, playing a game with a PlayStation Studios logo on it somehow makes it different. It's not going to be any different for you.
Yeah.
Granted, your money's going to PlayStation, and that's what you're upset about. But there's no downside for you here. You just get to play more, and the next game's going to be even better because it has even more funding for it now, and possibly resources from PlayStation. You're just going to see a benefit. There's no downside for you here.
I would like to hear just a straight FPS from Bungie again, just like a straight story. You need to play Halos 2 and 3.
You never know that the next game might be. To be fair, they've invested a lot in games as a service for them to just drop it now. But
I mean, you don't have to drop it. You can do one project in between. Do you know what I mean?
We'll see. Moving on to our next topic, which is the bad stuff here.
Oh God.
During an earnings call, Sony has confirmed that it plans to launch 10 live service games by March 2026.
That is only 4 years.
10 games in 4 years
They can't.
that are live service.
That cannot be all platform.
That statement sounds like it makes it sound like they've just suddenly turned Ubisoft, and every game they've got now is a live service game. What the fuck?
That's got to be like 5 of those have to be mobile.
That's what I think it is. So it doesn't go into specifics. They don't mention anything, but there's a couple of things. So like Last of Us Factions, technically live service game.
Yeah.
They might try and experiment with 1 or 2 other games. Deviation Games is apparently working on a multiplayer FPS game.
Yeah.
Technically live service there. Mobile games count as live service.
Firewalk's making a game we don't really know anything about it.
Exactly. So there's room for this not to be so bad.
Also could be a stretch goal, 10. They plan to do 10. They might only hit 6.
But when you hear that timeline, you're like, oh, cool. So the great things that everybody's loved up until now, story-driven RPGs that you've made your bread and butter on, your whole PlayStation family heritage on, ignore that all and just go to live service. It sounds terrible.
I feel like this could have come from Microsoft if it had been like, after the stunning success of Halo Infinite, we plan to bring out 10 live service games by 2026. The thing is, it can't all be platform, like console games. They also doesn't have to be Sony specific. It's likely to be some of the third party stuff, especially now with Bungie.
There's that key word, diversification.
Right.
It's likely they could be making a game, like you said, for mobile. They just chuck it out there, and it's passive income that they get on the background.
Right.
And they're not really like investing much into it. They're not making like a big deal out of it.
Candy Crush 2 or something. It's freemium.
When Candy Crush got its success, everyone tried to make a Candy Crush clone or something that would inject into that space because there's just so many users there. This could be one of those things just so they can get more income from somewhere.
Yeah.
But you can't help but think that, like, no, my good thing is going to be ruined by this thing.
It does feel that way. That said, just because you have like ingredients in a kitchen doesn't mean they all make it. Like if you have a cake, doesn't mean you get all the spices out the spice drawer to make that cake. Yeah. So they could still stick to what they do, their bread and butter, and then also do their like curry, whatever that metaphor breaks down almost immediately. But like, just because you have the stuff there doesn't mean it has to everything go into every project.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that we are for sure getting fricked. But it's very tempting, and we have always said, this is why I don't think we're Sony ponies, that Sony is a heartless, soulless corporation that will sell you down the river the second it's profitable, and that the only reason they make the most amazing games right now is that is the most profitable model. So how long until those skins in Ghost of Tsushima 2 are microtransactions instead of findables? Discoverables. I don't know.
Any moment a corporation could just change on a dime, right?
Right, exactly.
That's the troubling information. We don't know what's going to happen. We just have to wait and see. I'm just very, very worried.
It doesn't sound good. There's a lot that doesn't sound good.
Let me kick it over to some of our guys. Over on our... Let me have a look at the Patreon. Let me see if there was a Bungie comment there. Okay. Private Dinglebay writes in, he says, I read the full blog post of the Bungie acquisition, and Sony mentioned at least 6 separate times that Bungie will remain fully cross-platform, and I can only think to myself that the reason for this whole thing is to make Microsoft look bad if they were to try and make Activision Blizzard games Xbox exclusive, which is a very good point.
This is how you share games on the PS4.
It's going to be another one of those moments. Yeah. The way that they said it in multiple ways and places genuinely sounded like almost desperate, in my opinion, which is really unfortunate because I was hoping Sony wouldn't be led by this at all, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Interesting way of looking at it, that I can see where you're coming from, Private Dingleberry, that you feel like they're being led because of their responses seem to be directed at them.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily. I get what you mean. I think that's if Sony were to be led by them into this short-sighted comment right here, it's very short-sighted. Like, what do you do after that then? You have no action plan? I think it's more, probably after you've heard our conversation, let me know if you've changed your mind or if you changed your feelings in like Patreon comments or video comments or whatever. but I feel like there was more to it. That probably was one thing to like, because you know how Microsoft said the thing about, we're not gonna make platform exclusive games, next generation exclusive games for the first year.
Yeah.
But it was a statement really to hurt Sony.
Yeah, because they knew that they had no games.
Exactly.
Right.
And this might be the same sort of thing where they're making a statement where they're like, we're keeping it multi-platform. We're making games for everybody, for gamers. And then when Microsoft go to a different route to give them bad PR, it could be that as well. But I think the more likely is the primary thing we said.
It does look like Sony can be easily led by Microsoft if they make the right plays. And what this could be is Sony makes a giant acquisition that they can easily afford to make Sony start buying things that they can't afford. Luckily, I will say that they picked, relative to that purchase, they picked a small one, right? Let's call it 4 billion as opposed to 75 billion. Even accounting for their size as companies, is a much smaller purchase with potentially a good amount of like long lasting effects, so the live service infrastructure. However, if the point was to get Sony to start buying stuff because it can't afford it, it will burn itself out, then it's another Microsoft win. I really don't know.
Only thing is they can't control what they buy, right?
True.
And if they force Sony into... If they were to be able to lead Sony, if this was the reality that we live in where they have the ability to force them, to push them, and Sony was to go buy, say, Take-Two.
Yeah.
It's not exactly a win for Microsoft, is it? It's like, okay, we made them buy a fucking publisher
house,
that makes tons of money and also has one of the most valuable IPs ever.
Yeah.
Well, we won.
Sucks to be you, Sony.
We got them, boys.
Oh no, they bought EA.
You know, it doesn't really make sense. But I get what you mean though, using up their money, because that's the worst part that I said in the last episode, where it takes away from what PlayStation does best, funding studios that make great stories and great games. So yeah, it could be. Thanks for writing in there, Private Dingleberry.
Sony should buy Sega and make them make a Sega.
Make a Sega Genesis again. Just make it all over again. Alpha wrote in, and he's wrote in a couple of things, so I'm gonna pick apart what he said. If they really want to acquire studios, this is the way to do it. Continued multi-platform games, support and independence. Thank you, Alpha. That's the way to do it right there. And then he says other stuff about other things.
Cool. Over on Discord,
there you go,
Tailgate says, and this is kind of interesting, I don't play Destiny 2 anymore since I've fallen off that game, but I used to be really into Destiny when I was a kid. Does that make you guys feel old? Yes.
It does. Gee, what do you mean
Because
when you were a kid?
Old, yeah.
This was prime gaming times. What are you talking about? It's the prime of the PS4 era.
Sony's been trying to increase their multiplayer portfolio lately, so this purchase kind of makes sense. Sony has a good partnership with Bungie and Destiny, and the Destiny IP since Destiny 1. They showed off for the first time at a Sony event. Also, lately, Bungie have been wanting to expand the Destiny IP into other media. So I didn't know that. Yeah. Now let's say, for example, they want a Destiny TV show. Now they have a Sony studio. They can get help from PlayStation Productions to make that show a reality. I'm actually pretty excited for the future with this deal.
Raises some good points there. And it brought up a point that I didn't think about, actually. PlayStation's whole thing when purchasing studios is most of the time, unless there's a specific reason like Nixis for porting PC games, they usually acquire studios that they've had a long-standing relationship with. Yeah. Bungie, with Destiny, has had a PlayStation partnership since Destiny 1.
Pretty much day one, yeah.
Straight away, there was exclusive content that was works on with advertisement. They were on all of the E3 stages for them, etc., etc. They have, in more recent times, done one step out, and they've gone to they put their games on Game Pass. But then it seems like now they've just gone back to PlayStation after they've done the Insomniac move where they did one game, they did Sunset Overdrive, and then they just go, no, we want to come back. Please give us Spider-Man.
Right.
But yeah, that's so that also adds cloud to the idea that maybe they'll purchase someone else, because they've still stuck to their same way of like, we only purchase people that have got a relationship with, we've worked with, and we know can produce good stuff.
That's a good point. I
whatnot.
did actually think this was a bit out of character for Sony, and then I did forget they have had a really long-lasting relationship working with Bungie.
Their current only IP is known at PlayStation. That's like the big thing. Okay, Virgin Diogo helper.
Yeah, Jack.
Jack writes in and he says, the concern for me is there are more acquisitions on the way. So that's one thing we're going to mention in a second. Jim Ryan says that there are more acquisitions on the way after this. At what point is it gone too far? Nobody is asking for Sony and Microsoft to buy up all the big studios. In fact, we'd rather not. If there were some moral missions behind it, like keeping a studio alive via purchasing it and supporting it under its umbrella, then there's a case to be made. But when it turns into the big studios like Bethesda, or let's say someone like EA and the likes of them, we've gone too far. Agreed, that's the worst timeline, and no one is asking for that people from Microsoft to buy all the studios or PlayStation to buy these studios. There are some people asking, like stupid fanboys and whatnot, but we'd rather they stay separate and then we just all grow together.
Yeah. It definitely feels like we are on the way to that like cyberpunk future where there are only two companies that make games and they have a private army.
Yeah.
You know? It does kind of feel that way.
It's literally, and another analogy, it's like, you see in every movie when it comes to America versus like Russia, it's like, we've got our thumb over the nuclear button, and then the other ones are, we've got our thumb over the nuclear button. Well, you fire and then I fire, and then it's just going to be both of them fire, and then we all die.
Pretty much.
That's just what it's going to end up being.
Or no one fires and we just wait and wait and wait, and all these companies or dev houses that could have otherwise been working on projects can't because it doesn't get greenlit.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Microsoft. And Rare, come on, like seriously. Start me. Okay. Here's the thing that is bugging me about the purchases, is it looks like more thought is going into who to buy than what they should be making.
Yeah.
So, and I said this before about why I wasn't like super worried about the Microsoft purchases, is because they own Rare, and we've seen a bunch of games, so like Astro's Playroom, Ratchet & Clank, Sackboy, and Psychonauts, all doing surprisingly well. These are games that everybody likes, and especially when there's been a glut of games, they do really well. Banjo-Kazooie, I hate to always bring it up because it's not my favorite game of all time, but it's a loved IP of mine. Why isn't Rare making this?
Yeah.
But so I feel like we're already sitting on studios and not making stuff. I was a little bit worried with Sony Bend not getting to make Days Gone 2.
That was very worrying that time.
But we know they picked up a different project.
Yeah.
So it feels like Sony buys stuff and then immediately gets them working. And it seems that Microsoft owns stuff and they just sit there.
Yeah.
What's Rare up to?
I'm not sure. When you're done with that, I want to answer the topic, that question that you mentioned just here about the more acquisitions on the way. So, as I said, Jim Ryan, and as Jack said, Jim Ryan said that don't worry, there are more acquisitions on the way at the end of his interview after discussing the Bungie acquisition.
Sea of Thieves and Battletoads.
Nothing of consequence. Genuinely,
Yeah.
in realistic world, in the world that we live in, what do you think he means by that? Who do you think they acquire next? Not saying that we like it or anything like that. We're just talking about realistic world. He said they're going to acquire. Who do they acquire?
I don't see why you leave Square Enix out there.
Yeah.
That's the most surprising to me, that they would spend... It's about the same price tag to pick up Square, who have made, like 15 Sony exclusive Final Fantasies. They also have a game as a service thing, a live service game with Final Fantasy 15, is it?
Yeah, was it Ever what? No.
But they
Ender
have
Walker.
Yeah, they have a Final Fantasy live service game, so that makes sense as well.
I have a question for you, though.
Yes.
So they have this great partnership with Square Enix.
Yeah.
reasons why I think that's such a great partnership. One, because PlayStation work well with them and they obviously have a good relationship. They like each other. But two, their games don't sell well on Xbox. That's two reasons, because Xbox has taught people now that games don't cost money. But also, in the past, they've not been selling as well, and it's only gotten worse since the invention of Game Pass.
Keep going.
Are you looking for like a point to bring up here?
Well, because they make... I'm just looking for Kingdom Hearts 3, because that's cross-platform.
Right.
I'm just trying to have a look. No, it doesn't tell you.
Okay.
I can't find it.
So as I was saying, they don't sell that many. So I think that's why the relationship is so strong. Because really, it's like, well, if we don't make partnership with PlayStation, then we're just leaving money on the table, because we're not selling anything over here. We might as well sell over here and then make money from like platform exclusivity. Because Square Enix want to work with PlayStation, do you think it's worth PlayStation paying any money to buy them in the first place? It's like getting the milk for free, but then buying the cow. Why would you do that? You're getting the milk for free.
There's two sides to this.
Go on.
One, and not to be like condescending, but that's not how business works. I know what you're saying, but like, you can't buy a functioning company for no money, even though you work really well, right?
How do you mean?
Like, you can't get a discount on Square because even though you have all of their customers, and they won't just say, okay, we'll just join hands for nothing, right?
Wait, did you think that's what I said? Did I say something wrong?
I feel like maybe that's what...
What I was thinking was, so they're working with them now.
Yes.
And they're getting all the benefits of getting exclusive deals and whenever they want anyway. So why purchase them? Why spend that money get them?
Right. So
because they're already getting everything they got.
I misunderstood. There's only one point then, because Microsoft can buy them so that Sony cannot have the games.
True.
Even if no one on Xbox wants to play them.
That is the only thing to worry about, yeah.
So that's the reason to pick up Square. I will say, I think that their games would do just fine on Xbox. It's that they're mostly PlayStation exclusive, but things like Kingdom Hearts do fine on Xbox overall.
I don't know. I've never seen any numbers, so I can't say.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they do. I feel like I have played Kingdom Hearts on Xboxes before and stuff. Like, it's...
I wonder how they do now with the whole, change of mindset where... this is the funny thing as
they
well.
won't buy the games.
I see a lot of... I mention sometimes on Twitter every now and again. Not often, but sometimes. And people are quick to say, like, I buy games all the time. It's like, yeah, you fall in the minority. The MPD numbers prove every month that Xbox gamers aren't buying games. They're waiting for it to come free on Game Pass with their subscription. That's the way it is, I mean, there are people out there do buy, but we're good. So you think maybe Square Enix then?
It doesn't make sense to leave it out there for me. Especially because it meets all the checklist of like having made incredible games, having a long working history with Sony, and the fact that Microsoft could just acquire them and get rid of them. I don't see Sega or Capcom personally as being big gets. For me, I think you buy Square, you try to buy either Take-Two or EA. But again, this is working on the presumption that we're going to go toe-to-toe with Microsoft.
Yeah.
It's a tough fight to take because they are a much bigger company and they seem not to care about making any profit. Which is sort of like the suicide bomber thing. So that's going to get demonetized. But like, kamikaze pilots. How do you fight guys that don't care if they get shot on the way?
Yeah.
Right? It's really tough. And so...
That's what I think this smart move is all about, with Bungie anyway.
Yeah, so I think Square makes sense because, again, it's got that live service infrastructure and it's got IPs that are loved across PlayStation. That for me is the one that makes sense.
Yeah. The problem is that when I think about this, my mind all sort of like, I think about it so much that I forget that Jim Ryan has said that there's more acquisitions on the way. Because I keep thinking, I'm like, what should they post? No, they shouldn't do that. Man, they should just stop where they are because I think they're good. But then I'm like, but he said he's going to make more, so that's not the reality we're living in.
Also, we're assuming it's this. It might be that they pick up like a mobile game house.
Maybe.
I think that would be a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But I also think it's silly that they make phones. Like, for real, why? There's nothing wrong with their phones, but why even bother?
Especially when, like, Apple, Samsung and stuff have already
exactly
dominated the place. If I had to take a stab, in the dark, I'm gonna go with what you said. I think they make a play for the pockets of EA, and they make and they buy out Respawn. They take Respawn from them. And I think purely because EA are stupid enough where they only see the dollar signs, and if they take out Respawn, then they're just left with FIFA and stuff like that. And they're quite content just pumping out FIFA every year, making their billions off of that, and then being fine and continuing that way. If they could, in fact, if they could remove everything else and just have FIFA pumping all the time, they'd be happy. Because it's a constant of money from dumb people who just play FIFA all the time.
There's a lot of trash. There's a list on your screen that I was looking at. There's a lot of trash on there that I wouldn't want. I wouldn't want to be paying for. Like, to be honest, I don't think Need of Speed competes with anything else that's out there for racing games.
If you used to buy EA in general.
Yeah, so you were saying like that you pick up a few things.
I'd say pick up just Respawn. Right. Just Respawn, take them out. That's what you're doing.
That would be okay. I don't know if they'd let it go. I think it'd end up being overpriced.
But I think it'd be kind of worth it.
Especially if they're making a play for FPS games. Then you would have Bungie, Respawn.
Yeah.
Like, that's two of the biggest hitters in the space. You might be on something.
I don't know if my idea is realistic, though, because Respawn is signed on to do, 3 Star Wars games now? So they might be tied up for quite a while. Like, even contractually tied up for quite a while. Yeah, but
isn't one of those for Sony?
No, you're thinking about KOTOR, but KOTOR's being made by Aspire Studios.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's under EA's umbrella, but wherever, this is no place. But yeah, they might be contractually tied up.
Well, also, I mean, Sony has a good relationship with Disney.
True.
So
transfer that over to us.
Right. Just saying.
That would be a nightmare to negotiate. You have to somehow get EA to go, okay, give up this.
I do like the idea of Respawn.
Yeah. The ideal one would be Rockstar, but no way Take-Two's giving up Rockstar.
You have to buy all of Take-Two.
Yeah, there's no way, because Take-Two wouldn't just give up Rockstar.
Yeah, you have to buy all of Take-Two. I think Square's got to be done, pretty much. I honestly think it's silly to have bought Bungie and not Square.
Yeah?
Yeah, again, it depends on the play that they're making, but...
I think the live service thing is just so valuable.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that. Thank you for sparking that conversation there, Jack. Carrying on, Diogo says, I 100% agree with Jack here. Don't care about the games Bungie has or can bring, but I don't want this gen to just be buying studios, he says. And he has another question for afterwards. That's a good point right there. Mikey writes in as well, and he says, as the lads above said, he's a brand new true gamer.
Yeah, buddy.
As the lads above said, not really buzzing by them having bought, didn't really get into Destiny or played the original Halo game, so don't really care about it on the game side. But the implications it has, with more things being acquired, just don't like the way this is all going. These bigger companies buying these smaller studios/publishers. Let's tell you, if you look at it that way, which I was looking at the beginning, can be really bad. And I want to point out as well, while I had my grand vision of how Sony could be turning this thing around, that's all just a theory. That's not a I don't know if that's what they're thinking. It could be the dark times that we're talking about. I'm just trying to look for a positive spin on this thing. The same way that when Microsoft bought Activision, I was looking at the positives about how the work culture is going to get better there, how that's going to inspire better games to come from those developers. That's what I was looking for. Anyway.
Banana Tree.
Yes.
Yeah, that is all. I thought it was all we had. I think that in a lot of ways, the gaming industry is becoming a lot like the movie industry. So many movies are owned by Universal, and it seems that Microsoft/Sony is beginning to own most games that are made. Whether it's a positive or negative thing, only time can tell. Yeah, I feel you, man. And it's a big concern. I just think a bit more competition, a bit more freedom in the space is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly, you mentioned that Mikey is a part of a group.
That's right.
A special group, a special like Windows are delicious kind of special group of people over on patreon.com/conversations that make this podcast in particular happen. Those are the true gamers at the $5 tier. Who do we have to thank?
There was something I was going to do in a different order. And it doesn't work now, but there's no way that you would have known that. But let me...
Oh, sorry.
No. Let me do it this way and see if it works.
Yeah, just put it in
again.
here organically. We'll totally forget to edit this bit
Organically
out.
right here. So go. So, bro, this is the True Gamer podcast.
Yes.
Coming to your eyes and ears every Saturday here at youtube.com/c/Conbrosations1. It's very fluid right there. We're going right there.
I don't understand why they do that.
Yeah, I don't know why they put the C. Like, is it too hard to be like Conbrosations1? The C needs to be in there as well. Anyway, that's going on there. Coming to your eyes and ears every Saturday, yeah. Here and on podcast services around the world.
That's right.
You can search for the True Gamer Podcast anywhere and you'll see our beautiful faces, hear our lovely, lustrous voices.
Is that a real word?
I think there is.
Let
Let us know in the comment section. Yeah, and if you're following us on YouTube, feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button to help us out, and leave us a little comment down below because it's awesome and it tells us we're doing a good job. You can tell us things that we may have got wrong and things like that. If you're listening to us on podcast services like Apple Podcasts, you can rate us 5 stars. If you're on Spotify, a brand new feature, please rate us 5 stars. It helps us out climb those rankings. Thank you very much right there. And if you want to take your support that extra mile, if you want to take it that one step further, just like a bunch of our bros have, you can head over to patreon.com/Conbrosations, where you can kick us a couple of bucks a month, where you can get exclusive access to the Conbrosations podcast, early access to this podcast, and all kinds of other cool stuff over there. If you go to the $5 tier, like Mikey did, you can become a true gamer, along with Adam the High Quality Potato, Jeremy Horde, Make Bindis Mod, I should say, Sheps the Crusty Right Nut, Isak Many, Adam the Toby Forge Simp, Tobias Forge Simp, that's the word, Cats Coral, Kevin Crow, Sab2557, Rick, Joe McCormack, Random Wavelength, Billy, Diogo, the Puthi Connoisseur, aka Zacchino, Sussy Imposter Amogus Moment, Batfan, aka the Better Eddie Clone, Dan Dano, Fishy, the Jackal, Mikey Tilly, Alpha Aquile, Max H, Cobra. I don't know why I stumbled on Max.
It's like a 3-letter word.
Max. That was the thing that got me caught right there. And you see me in the video. Max H, Cobra SS, Sam Mason, and Albie Scory. Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights and mics on and the gaming going here. Your support is awesome. We've got so much support.
Unfortunately, Max, you got a double shout out, so you have to be a true gamer next month as well.
Oh shit! Did he get a double?
You owe us.
Did I?
Because you said his name a million times because you stumbled.
One other thing as well. iTurts as well. He, for some reason, Patreon charged him.
It hurts.
I
always do that as well.
Patreon for some reason charged him twice. And the funny thing is, he decided to go for the $69 tier noise.
Wow.
So the guy got charged like $125. And I was like, whoa!
We can refund at least one.
I did one already.
I was going to say.
We already got it sorted out and everything. But he was messaging me. He's like, Patreon's taking a ton of money out, man.
No, and we'll expect it next month.
I was tempted to go straight away. It's a big thing, but I was tempted to go, nah, sorry, mate. Once it's gone, done's done, innit? Deal. Sorry, man.
We shook on it, mate.
I've been told by the suits above that nothing can be done about him. Sorry. But yeah, we sorted that out. So iTunes, thank you very much for that.
Thank you, bro. There is content for you in there, by the way. I genuinely don't remember if it's good, but we did make content.
Ben Fryer also went to the $69 tier for January, and he recently watched it as well, and he was like, it's fantastic.
Okay, because I remember that we made it. I don't remember how it turned out. So
we should do another one of that. Guys, however, if you don't want to give us any money, that's okay. We totally love you just the same. Just being here, giving us your time, supporting us in that way is great. Like the video, that's all we need. We ask from you. Write a little comment down below. That's all we ask.
Talking of comments down below, my favourite section, which I never forget, correcting Conbrosations, which of course, thanks to my good takes last week, there will be none.
Oh boy,
So if you're new around here, basically the way it works is we have never let facts get in the way of a strongly held belief. We say stuff on the internet. Sometimes it's not exactly correct, like we get the first 99 digits of pi wrong, but we get the last 100th one incorrect,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing. So head down to the comment section of this video and you can say like, at 2 minutes and 48 seconds when you said this, it's actually that. And then we will read out your comment and credit you. And we'll do that on the next show. Just how it works.
Just to give you guys a hint of like how controversial this thing was. Is usually we get like 10-ish comments, something
like that. Yeah.
29 on this one. 29. That's a good one. But 100% like ratio, so it's all in good jest. Everyone's having a good time.
100% likes. Everybody, I think they just came out and were like, I knew Sheps was smart and good, but I didn't know he was a master of this level, an artisan good take connoisseur.
Legion says Tyler's reaction to Sheps is a weird Horizon Zero Dawn rant was so epic. Buttfucker 3000 Buttfucker 3000 says we need more Tyler, lol. Him challenging Sheps was jokes. I love what I would love to watch Tyler's dad in the octagon with Eddie, because I mentioned another great episode. Oh, let me read this one from Brian Ford. Love listening to Tyler lay into Sheps. Lay in some piping to you, I guess.
Oh my days.
I love y'all, and I don't mind disagreeing on things with people I watch. But hearing you talk about Horizon has been painful, and Tyler was basically saying all the things I've been yelling at my screen for years. For years.
This is what I'm saying. You make it sound like you can't talk to me about this stuff.
Like a bad relationship. He's been holding it all in, and then one day it's just going to burst out in a shopping mall.
You'll just get a black eye. Like, you just make me so angry, you know? Like, it's not going to happen. I can understand that you have shit takes. It's okay. I'll explain why you're wrong and I'm right.
This is great. This is good stuff. Fingers crossed Robin and West will be what everybody wants, so we can all be a happy family again. Because right now, the relationship is a strange...
I'm just the abusive father.
Woo!
Oh, well, I'm mum. The Discord dubbed me mum, by the way.
Let me go through it. Zach Chino said, fuck, I forgot to write in, caught me off guard, caught me at work, and I forgot to write in by the time I was finished. Man, I'm glad Tyler is gaming again, as always, potty with it. Oh, couldn't agree more. Okay, he actually doesn't mention anything it's a great comment. I replied to you, but it's not about a correct conversation.
AKA Zacchino knows my take is gold. With a capital G for gaming.
Legion writes in saying, bro, what's Sheps talking about her not being curious? Literally the first time you play of her as her, she's exploring an underground place as a kid. And that's really weird thing to complain about as well. I think the fact that she was a woman was a weird thing to complain about.
That's why the game's so good. We all know that female protagonists don't. So that's also the last time she goes doing anything curious.
Another thing he says, spoilers if you haven't played the game, I don't know why I did that. Like, it is spoilers. It's not fake spoilers.
I have some bad news about your blood tests.
Father. Yeah. No shit, dude. Who caused the... no shit, the dude who caused the apocalypse was a dude. I mean, look at the world. Pretty much every single huge company has a man on top of it. I don't know if that's the reason why the world went bad.
That's also not what I was saying. But.
So hold on. What you're saying is that the reason why the world is shit is because men are on top of CEO positions.
I think what he's saying is the reason that guy's a dude is most CEOs are dudes, right? But what I was saying was that throughout the game, all the forces for evil come from a masculine side of things.
Let's make this episode about it as well. Let's go.
Just to clarify this one thing. And that all the forces for good and change are all female. And the things that change the world, so like Aloy, Gaia, what's the doctor's name?
Elizabeth
Sobek. And every time she mentions stuff, if I had a kid, I would have wished it was a daughter. So a lot of femininity cures the world, is basic, and masculinity is all violence. That is the basic underlying feeling that I got from the game. I'm glad. Wow, this blocked nose is killing me. I'm glad most people didn't feel it, because it took away from the game for me. So that, plus I feel like Aloy lacks a little bit of curiosity, and I hope they fix that in the next game, and then it would be perfect, because I want to love it. Oh god, it's so stacked for my perfect game. Let's hear some more idiots with their shit takes.
Gabriel, long-time fan of ours. Yeah, thank fuck somebody called out Sheps on this shit Horizon Zero Dawn and Aloy take. I just love it. The savagery. Correcting Conbrosations.
What's you know what's cowering in fear for my Horizon take?
You know he's over the internet. He can't hurt you. You can
Right.
say whatever you want.
Right. Unless we meet at EGX.
Then he's taking names down. It's like, oh,
Okay.
You want a signature, do you? Oh,
Yeah. Nice to meet you. Aloy still sucks. Love ships.
You're gonna have to fight me. I just happen to have brought an octagon with me. Pulls it out of his pocket. Correcting Conversations. Sheps clearly didn't play. This is Diogo. Sheps clearly didn't play Horizon Zero Dawn.
Damn, I've been discovered.
Discovered. He watched an incel video online of someone who said they played it,
Yeah.
and that's all it is, right there.
That's what it was.
And that's all. That's everyone's complaints, right
My
there.
opinion on Horizon, right? It's not my strong suit nor my passion. I just read what they put in front of me. Okay? So
Hello, G4. Come to G4. You're welcome here. Anyway, correcting Conversations. That's
There we go.
going right there.
do we have any other topics? There's got to be at least one more.
We do have some more. So let's go with some bad news.
Yes.
Bad news for me. Very upset about this. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has been delayed to 2023. Fairly obvious to see, honestly, because we've only seen one bit of gameplay of it since its reveal.
It was a little slow.
And yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed though, because out of all the ones that are going to bang, in my personal opinion, that WB are putting it out with Hogwarts Legacy and Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
This is the one that's going to bang.
You think this is going to bang more than Hogwarts Legacy? You are smoking crack.
Okay, do you know what?
Birds think I have a bad Horizon take. That is a shit take.
Listen, Hogwarts Legacy is doomed to fail. It's based
Shit
on a
IP,
shit
innit?
IP, and based on a four-eyed kid. It's based on a four-eyed kid that can't get laid.
And one of the trio is a woman.
Exactly.
Female.
And as we know, women don't sell games.
It's a fact.
No, do you know what I have to say? Hogwarts Legacy has the potential to be good.
I agree.
However, there's something I'm getting a bad feeling about it. It seems to be like they've delayed it too many times. They've been suspiciously quiet about it.
I'm really
I
glad
don't
you
know
said that.
what's going on.
I've got a bit of worry about it as well. I just feel like it's not something's not right. I feel like we should be much deeper in the cycle for this. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
And Gotham Knights, they had the tease, the hype build up about the Court of Owls for so long, and we was like, oh, it's gonna be amazing, and then they show it and we're like, oh, it's shit. Okay, no problem. And
I
then
immediately just wrote that off. Yeah.
There are people that are excited for it, but not excited for the same reasons that we were going up to it.
Yes, yeah.
And it's sort of fallen off the radar. With Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, people were from the get-go understood from what it was going to be, and when we saw the gameplay, it just reaffirmed what we were seeing.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, this is going to go then. This is something that's going to happen.
I think...
And then it's fallen off now.
Gotham Knights, I think, will be okay, but it wasn't what we were led to believe. Suicide Squad, I hope what they're really doing is going back and doing reshoots with Henry Cavill for all the ways you get to kill Superman.
Hey, come on now.
It's the only way you're going to get him in a video game, bruv.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll just do whatever you want. Please. Yeah, so that's happening, unfortunately. Good news for us in the Fantasy Critics League, however, because Alpha Aquila had it on his team, so that means he's getting 0 points for that.
Get fucked.
And he had a Dying Light 2 on his thing as a counter pick, and it's 1 point to whoever picked it, and as a counterpoint, he gets -1 point for that. So everything's looking up Eddie right now.
I mean, you kind of cheated by creating the game and picking God of War to begin with.
I just went straight for the good one. I went, that's it.
Right.
Guaranteed 25 points right there.
Right.
Okay. Next thing. Do you remember the Dark Sorcerer tech demo from 2013?
No.
2013. Cast your mind back, kids. The Dark Sorcerer, it showed an old man doing like some magic in a room, and then what happened was it cut back after, like he was like doing his magic and stuff like that, and then it cut, and it was him on a stage, and it was essentially supposed to be...
Yeah.
It was a spoof. It was like, we're shooting a movie, etc. But it wasn't really. It was a tech demo to show what's possible on the PlayStation 4. right?
Yeah.
Made by Quantic Dream.
I do remember this. This was pretty hilarious as well, yeah.
Nothing came of it. It was just a tech demo. That was fine. Quantic Dream announced they're going to be making a game based on this tech demo.
Amazing. I hope it is true to this demo.
Yeah.
I want it to be a mix of like, you're actually a super powerful wizard, but you're on full on hard times now. You're working with these little goblins and making stuff. You want to get back to wizarding, but like you've been out of it for a while and you don't want to come in underpaid.
You got to make money on movies and stuff like that.
Right. People don't realize you're actually doing the magic.
I got asked the question, why? Why Quantic Dream? What was the thing that said, hey, let's make a video game based on this tech demo that we made ages ago? Because as far as I know, after that tech demo came out, people just forgot about it. No one said, hey, let's make a game of this, or hey, we really want a game of that.
Yeah.
What caused you to think this was something you should be reviving?
Can I make a counterpoint?
Go on.
Why not?
That is a solid point. Shut me down right there.
To be honest, I do feel like one of the things we lack most in gaming, especially right now, is some comedy.
Yeah.
Like, there aren't that many just truly funny games out there. There have been a few in the past, but like in the last sort of 5 years, they're all... Serious isn't the right word, but like, you're not laughing at Miles Morales, you're not laughing at Ghost of Tsushima, you're not laughing at God of War.
Yeah.
There are some funny moments, but like... I could really do with something stupid like Conker's Bad Fur Day. Did you ever play that on the N64?
Yes.
Something just stupid and hilarious, you know? Like a singing turd. Why not? I could do with a comedy game.
I can buy that. I'm interested to see what it is. There's no way of knowing like what it is yet. Apparently they've only just started developing it. But like the Unreal Engine 5 demo.
Oh god, we need that game.
Everyone's saying bring that into a game that looks really interesting.
It's never
like,
getting made.
What's going to... Probably never going to get made. But I'm like, that looks interesting.
You can play that demo though. They made it so you can play that.
Yeah. But at least there's demand for that.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anyone, even at the time back in 2013, say they wanted to see whatever this was. So what came into this?
Facts.
Don't know what's going on there. Okay. Some financials in regarding Sony, the PlayStation 5. Sony apparently really struggling now with supply issues.
Yeah.
They've had to turn down their projections from 14.8 million they projected they were going to make by the end of March, the financial year. They've had to turn that down to 11.5. So if you're out there and you still haven't got a PS5, it's going to be even harder to get one now. Really sucky. What else?
I think in the next couple of years we'll all be on the PS5, but for right now it's not.
It's annoying because then it reaffirms
the whole everything needs to be on the PS4 as well. And
is the next game going to come out on PS4 now? Because then they have more ammo for that argument, and we don't want it anymore. We want current gen games.
If I was still on PS4, I'd be on my day of release PS4, and it cannot handle these games. It could not handle them.
No.
Not to the way you'd want to play it, you know?
No.
So.
Some good news regarding God of War on PC. Let me just put that up. God of War is the #1 selling game on Steam for 3 weeks in a row now.
Duh.
Coming up to the 4th week now. We'll find out what's going on. It's at its current highest concurrent peak. It's doing fantastically.
Duh.
Apparently, it's made even more money than any of the other PlayStation Studios games that came out on there. Fantastic move right there.
I mean, is that a surprise to anyone?
Not a surprise.
Not
just
to me.
Showing how good it is, really. Yeah, but
yeah, I mean,
not
it is the best. These kind of games, like, you know, it's not going to go up against CSGO or anything.
Yeah.
Story-driven, third-person RPG, it's the best one. The best one. Obviously, it's going to smash.
This is a funny thing that happened. So, prior to Jim Ryan saying that that they were gonna purchase a new studio, an account called Account NGT, that's his name, Account NGT, right? He put out the leak that Sony are in the talks to buy a massive publisher.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, who could it be? Going around one.
Yeah.
This guy previously leaked the existence of the Star Wars Eclipse game that's coming from Quantic Dream.
Yeah.
So kind of reliable source. At least he's got some inside knowledge and whatnot.
Yeah.
Everyone started having the conversation, even like media outlets picked it up, right? And then afterwards, he started commenting on people who are posting those links saying, stop spreading these false rumors. Those rumors came from you. What?
That is some top tier trolling.
Right?
There.
I don't understand. Like, it wasn't like he put it out and then afterwards he was like, guys, I'm deleting the tweet now because it was just a joke or anything like that.
Right.
Just deleted the tweet and then went on the offensive. Like, everyone else is crazy. Like, I didn't say those words.
You're quoted. Like, we retweeted you. You're quote tweeted. You're under this tweet.
What?
That's hilarious. That's really funny.
I don't understand. Anyway, that's why I didn't mention it earlier on. I was like, do we mention it? I mean, he's kind of saying that it's not true, but then why did he say it in the first place?
That's just really funny.
Yeah. Speaking of Star Wars Eclipse, the game being made by Quantic Dream,
Yeah.
apparently the game is reportedly inspired by The Last of Us.
Should be inspired by Star Wars, I would think.
I would think so as well, yeah. Maybe you think about Star Wars first. But I love how they say, oh, it's inspired by Star Wars. I put the tweet out and I said, that's cool, you can be inspired by Star Wars, but can you pull it off? I'm inspired by Henry Cavill, but I ain't going to be like him, am I?
Right, you're right.
There's something more to this, you know?
I actually haven't seen this trailer yet. It's the Eclipse. It's on the website.
Yeah, it's full like CG and one. If anyone who hasn't seen it, it just shows that they know the world at least, that they've used things that are accurate.
Yeah,
Nothing more is known, however.
CG trailers mean dick all because you can have an incredible CG trailer for like an RTS, or like The Sims could come up with an incredible CG trailer and it's still The Sims. Doesn't mean it's going to be like a different kind of game. You have no idea.
It's like
But it feels Star Warsy.
It's like Overwatch. Overwatch has those really cool CG videos for like story and whatnot, and then they bear no relevance to the actual game.
Right. Right.
You remember when they were coming out and they were saying like, "Oh, Overwatch, this character is so and so," and I'm like, "Yeah, but you're shooting people. It doesn't
Right.
like it doesn't matter if their favorite color is green. It doesn't bear any relevance to the
Or
game."
when they said Tracer was gay,
Yeah,
it's like I don't care.
it just didn't.
There's
make
no
sense.
romance options.
Yeah,
I'm shooting people.
If that was the thing, I'd be like, okay, so when I have a romance with, is it May, the snow?
Yeah.
So, then it makes sense. But you don't. There's no interaction.
It's important for like Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Where you've got romance options, but like it's not important for Overwatch. It doesn't matter.
Strange. And I think that's everything I have on my list. What's this one link I've got down there? I've got a secret link.
A secret link. Anyway, this trailer looks good, but like it doesn't tell us anything about the game.
No, not at all. Okay, there is one other thing I wanted to mention as well. Before we go into the final questions of the topics, this is from the Bungie acquisition and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it turns out that of that 3.6 billion, I should say, 2.4 of it was actually for the purchase of Bungie.
Okay.
And PlayStation have done something quite interesting right here. 1.2 billion is part of a long-term incentive rewards program for employees to stay after the acquisition. Yeah. So there's a big problem right now in the industry where people are brought on, work on games, and then like 16 months later, 18 months later, they just get kicked to the curb.
Contractors a lot of time.
Yeah. And because projects obviously ramp up when it comes to the release and whatnot, and then once it's released, they don't need those people anymore, so they kick them to the curb and whatnot. And it's harsh, but that is part of how like game development works.
Yeah.
Not begrudging anybody, but if you're a big company, maybe it's on you to use the big money that you have to support people's livelihood, to support because they have to move to an area, they have to create routes. Those expenses don't go away just because the projects come out, but it is on them at the end of the day.
I was going to say,
right?
the other side of that coin is they know that they're a contractor. They know that unless it's their very first gig, but even then you should be aware that this is the way that things go. So it's like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Exactly. But if you are a big company, then maybe you can help mitigate some of that because you've got the flexibility and you're going to make money on the next project or something like that. And if you treat them with a bit of loyalty, maybe they'll do something good for you. You never know and whatnot.
Also, you'd want to probably keep, if you have really good contractors, maybe you keep them on, right?
You don't want them going somewhere else
Right.
and whatnot. And that's what this is supposed to be for. And I think that I haven't ever heard of anyone doing this before. It seems really, really good. I'm quite proud of Sony for that.
Sony
actually.
pony.
There was this is going to really make me sound like a Sony pony now. There was news when Halo Infinite was done, how there was contractors that if they kept them beyond 18 months, then they owed them a certain thing. So
Right.
they specifically fired them at the 18-month mark to
Negate that
negate
obligation.
that. Exactly. Which was, it's a common thing in the industry. But you'd think a company like Microsoft, who's willing to lose money left, right, and center for everything, could spare a 60K salary for somebody so they can live their lives.
It's pretty shitty. They specifically did that, and then they will have brought on different contractors or said, like, you're being fired. By the way, we have a new contractor job. Do you want it?
Exactly.
Sort of thing,
Yeah. That's the thing. I think this is really quite nice. We'll see how it turns out and whether or not it's actually... Because there's always contracts and clause, and I wonder if it's like, well, only you get this one, but you don't or whatnot, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, that's all the topics that we have for today. Fucking madness. Things are moving.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
Huge glaciers are moving. Let's kick it back over to our Patreon, where Alpha had some things to say. So, he said... Oh, is that? I always say, okay, so he said, should we talk about what we played? Let's talk about what he played. I started Red Dead Redemption 2 this weekend. Eddie. Sorry to hear that. Have you played Red Dead Redemption 2, Sheps?
I actually respect my time.
Sheps hasn't because he's a weeb.
Facts.
Really got to use that as much as possible before my potential turn, because he might.
He's going to join the dark side.
What are your thoughts on ignoring God of War's superiority, mate? Fucking, you ignoring God of War's superiority is
Has he not
travesty.
played God of War?
I think he said it, so I think he means
okay.
RDR2.
Okay.
Look, I'm happy that you're playing RDR2. It is a fantastic game.
Yeah.
All the people out there that say it's better than God of War, they're idiots.
They are idiots.
Just take their fucking word out of there. But it is fantastic. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Have you been playing anything recently?
I'm still just sort of, because I was away for like almost a week.
Oh, you wasn't
Yeah,
you?
so only little bits of A Plague Tale, which I will eventually finish it. I'm not in any rush to finish it or play anything else. Oh, tell a lie. I'm gonna finish Plague Tale and then play that Tina's Tiny Dungeons and Dragons thing.
So do you want to hear something about that?
Yes.
Apparently, there's some bullshit controversy with that. So it's for those of you guys who don't know, it's available free on the PlayStation added benefit as your PlayStation Plus subscription. And it's not the game that we think it is.
Okay.
So Tiny Tina's
whatever it's called,
whatever this thing is the full game, and this is apparently a gimped DLC that they've put on the side in order to get you to buy the full game when it releases.
Well, I won't be doing that.
I don't think anyone is. This is such a dumb thing. And also, it's come out at the worst time. February is stacked with other games to play.
We got Horizon, Elden Ring's like a month away.
Yeah, Dying Light's already out. Pokemon Arceus Legends is out.
Yeah.
Sifu's coming out in 2-3 days.
Yeah, it's downloadable Monday, right? Yeah.
What the? This is... No one's going to play your game.
It's not going to work.
It's so bad.
I might play that thing and see what it's like, but I'm not buying the full game. I got other stuff to buy.
Exactly. Anyway, that if you play that, let me know how it is, because I ain't going to try it out. It doesn't look like my kind of thing. But you've been playing a little bit Plague's Tale.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's just a little fun. It's basically a puzzle-solving game, functionally, but it's good fun. I'm enjoying it.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my normal thing either, but...
I would say it was not your normal thing, yeah. I have been playing Uncharted Thieves... Legacy of Thieves Collection, I think it's called. They did an interesting thing with this. So you know how normally if you have the disc...
Yeah.
And you want to do the upgrade, the £10 upgrade, and you put the disc in, you have to always use the disc in order to do the thing. They've done a weird thing where, like, when you put the disc in, you can either do the disc upgrade, or you can give the same amount of money, £10, and it just gives you the digital version.
Right.
And I just did that.
That's a really good option.
I was like, cool, so I don't need to keep putting the disc in.
Yeah.
I don't know why that wasn't an option for everything else we've done before. Like,
We're living in the future of gaming, bro.
the future of gaming. Anyway, I'm playing through that. It looked gorgeous on PS4 in my memory.
Yeah.
It looks even more stunning now.
I believe it. Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, though. This game came out in 2004, 2006, 2016.
Something like that, yeah.
Uncharted 4?
I've still never played an Uncharted game.
No way. Oh, you need
Just
to get
never
on it,
got
man.
there.
It's very good. 2016 it came out.
Yeah.
My memory is so bad. I'm playing this game and I'm like, whoa! Completely forgotten everything about this game.
You played it a while ago, didn't you?
Yeah, I played it on release. I was like... And all I remember is... Because people were asking me, did I get the platinum? And I remember specifically I got stuck at the last level.
Yeah.
I was like...
This is one of those boot loops where you don't have enough ammo and
Yeah,
you always get killed. Yeah,
It was crushing difficulty. Everyone kills you in like one fucking shot. There's 2 tank enemies that require so many hits.
Yeah.
And I had the worst weapons and then I ran out of ammo.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is impossible. I have to drop it down to a lower level. And then I beat it and then it just finished the game. And I was like, fuck you, you son of a bitch. I remember that, but I don't remember anything else about the game. So I'm playing it and I'm like, oh, they went to... Hold on, when did they go here?
When did they go to Singapore? You spent the whole game in Singapore.
What's this and whatnot? And then I'm doing through all the trophies and whatnot. I will say, I am gonna get the platinum this time. Sean, you bastard, you've forced me into this. He's proper gloating on Twitter that he's got the platinum for it, and I have to get it.
You have to. You don't make the rules.
I don't.
You just follow them.
And in order for me to have fun with the game, I have to
Right.
get the platinum.
Exactly. There's no other way to do it.
Exactly. But I'm having a lot of fun with that, and it's just fantastic. The Naughty Dog quality is great.
I should probably play one of these games.
I think you should. It's digital now, so you can
You
download
need to
this
shut
one
up
as
and
well.
finish Halo. 2 and 3. I'm talking real Halo.
Do you know what? Now that it's a PlayStation studio, I'll play Halo. Okay. Now it's great. Now
That's right.
it's greatness. So
The
now
creators, at least, are on PlayStation. That is true. So, yeah.
this is the thing. If I go back to Halo now, it's like, of course, when Sony purchased Bungie.
Do you know what? Yeah. But do you know what would be funny? If they did pick up Respawn, then they have the 2 companies that made first-person shooters the thing. The guys that made Halo, the guys that made COD 4.
Yeah.
Like...
It'll be pretty mad, right?
Talk about people that know how to make FPS games.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Do you want to hear something funny as well about the whole
Obviously,
Bungie
yeah.
thing? So, a while ago, Phil Spencer said that his favorite game that he plays, his favorite game,
Yeah.
is Destiny.
Oof.
Now PlayStation are making his favorite game.
Oof.
He's gonna have to change his messaging now. He can't be seen saying that he loves a PlayStation game. Come
Right.
on.
That's just not going to fly, Phil.
Yeah. Is there anything else that we missed? Oh, here we go. So this is fun. This is actually ties into what I was saying. Diogo writes in, he says, thoughts on the Uncharted remasters. Loving it personally with the 60 FPS and more detailed textures. Haptics on triggers could be better though. Disappointed there's no driving adaptive trigger. Can't wait to finally get into Lost Legacy for the first time. That's actually a really good point, Diogo. When I got into the part where you're like driving up the slippery mountains and stuff like that, I feel something on the adaptive triggers, but it doesn't do anything. There's not like a bowstring being pulled back.
Right.
I get more resistance. I'm like, this is like a pedal. It's down or up.
Right.
It's not. I don't know what you're trying to do here. And if I hold it less, it doesn't make the car go slower.
Right.
It's just on or off. I don't know what they've done here. The haptic triggers are quite poor in my opinion, but it just looks.
That's
fantastic.
something I would take off, yeah. I would do it once and be like, I don't like this, I'm just taking it off.
Take it off. See you later. Anyway, that's
I am also a little bit worried that I'm going to wear out those triggers
Yeah.
on the haptic. Because, you know, it gains resistance. And then the way I'm wired, if something's pushing against me, I just push harder.
Yeah.
So,
Must be built to do something like that. It
you'd
feels a certain
think,
pressure.
You'd
for it to
hope.
make.
You'd hope.
But you just break things as well.
I
there is
do. I
that.
have bad luck with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is funny. I'm not like a gorilla. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like a 6'6", 300-pound monster. I'm not like the mountain and I'm breaking everything.
Can I say one more thing about the Destiny 2?
No, that was it.
thing?
You missed your shot.
I've missed my shot. Fucking hell. As a ex-Destiny fan,
Yeah.
I am hopeful
A
for what comes in the
recovering
future.
Destiny fan.
Yeah, and the main reason is because it's just so you can't get your friends into it.
Yeah.
Your friends need to make purchases, and there's so much build they have to do. There's so much work they have to put in, and then on top of that as well, you have to put in your effort, which is a whole like full-time job in there. And whatnot.
That's why we stopped playing. Was it the District 2?
The Division.
The Division 2.
The Division 2. Yeah,
it's just hard to get into.
And I can't recommend it to friends.
Right.
I hope that's something that they work on. Not that I say make it easy or change it just for me. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and I just have to not play it. But it's such a big barrier to entry and such a mountain to climb if you want to get back into Destiny. Something about that needs to be done. Something about that needs to be done. Anyway.
You need to just make games easy to play.
Yeah.
You know? Not easy to play, but like there shouldn't be a 40-hour gameplay requirement to jam with your friends, you know? Unless it's like World of Warcraft, it's going to take you a while to get there, right? That's part of the game, sort of the point. But a game like Destiny, I shouldn't have to spend 40 hours just getting right up to the same level so that I can do the things that I need to do to then be able to play with you in the last in-game content. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, that's everything that we've got to talk about today. I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of the True Gaming Podcast. Let us know in the comment section how you feel about the whole Bungie acquisition. Do you share our thoughts about how things are going? Do you think Sheps is right? Maybe this isn't such a good idea. Let us know in the comment section.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. Bro, thank you for joining me for another episode. Catch you all in the next one.
In the next one.
Boom, boom, ba-dum, boom, boom, ba-dum, boom, 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 boom.
One of these days you have to just switch the audio for the intro. Yeah. I think that would be funny as frick.
All right, guys. See ya.